The United States has carried out one of the most dramatic military operations in recent history, capturing Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, during a large-scale overnight operation in Caracas. According to U.S. officials, more than 150 American aircraft were deployed to neutralize Venezuelan air defenses, after which U.S. special forces were inserted into the capital and seized Maduro from a safe house. At least 40 people, including civilians and soldiers, were killed during the operation, based on preliminary reports from Venezuelan officials. The strikes caused power outages in parts of Caracas and targeted several military installations. Following his capture, Maduro and his wife were transported to a U.S. Navy ship stationed offshore before being flown to the United States. They arrived at Stewart Air National Guard Base in New York and were later moved under heavy security to federal custody in New York City. Maduro is expected to appear in Manhattan federal court to face charges including narco-terrorism conspiracy, drug trafficking, and weapons offenses. The U.S. Department of Justice also unsealed a new indictment naming Maduro, his wife, and their son. U.S. officials described the operation as swift and overwhelming, aimed at removing Maduro from power and cutting off alleged drug networks. The military action triggered widespread disruption across the Caribbean, especially in air travel. Venezuelan airspace was completely shut down, and the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration imposed restrictions that forced airlines to cancel hundreds of flights across the eastern Caribbean. According to Flight Radar 24, no commercial aircraft were flying over Venezuela on Saturday. Airlines warned passengers that delays and cancellations could continue for several days, causing chaos during an already busy holiday travel period. U.S. President Donald Trump defended the operation during a press conference, stating that the United States intends to oversee Venezuela's transition and is not ruling out a continued military presence, including the possibility of boots on the ground. Trump said major U.S. oil companies would move into Venezuela to rehabilitate its oil infrastructure, emphasizing that the country's vast oil reserves could help offset the costs of U.S. involvement. He did not clearly state who would lead Venezuela once U.S. control ends, raising concerns about a potential power vacuum. In Venezuela, Vice President Delcy Rodriguez condemned the operation as a kidnapping and a violation of national sovereignty, insisting that Maduro remains the country's legitimate president. She stated that the government was ready to defend Venezuela and its natural resources. A Venezuelan court later ordered Rodriguez to assume the role of interim president. While some streets in Caracas remained calm with soldiers patrolling, small pro-Maduro demonstrations were reported, alongside citizens expressing relief at his removal after years of authoritarian rule. The international reaction has been sharply divided. The United Nations Security Council announced it would hold an emergency meeting to discuss the U.S. operation. The United Kingdom said it had long supported a transition of power in Venezuela but emphasized the importance of international law. France welcomed the end of Maduro's rule and said opposition leader Edmundo González Urrutia should lead a peaceful transition. Several Latin American countries reacted differently, with Argentina praising Venezuela's new freedom, while Mexico condemned the intervention and Brazil said the U.S. had crossed an unacceptable line. Russia and China strongly criticized the operation, accusing the United States of violating Venezuela's sovereignty and threatening regional stability. Legal experts in the United States have questioned the legality of capturing the sitting president of a foreign nation, and some American lawmakers said they were misled during briefings and demanded clarity on what would follow. Critics have drawn comparisons to past U.S.-led regime change operations in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Panama, warning that prolonged involvement could lead to instability and long-term costs. Even within Trump's political base, concerns have emerged that the operation contradicts the "America First" promise to avoid foreign wars. Despite Maduro's removal, Venezuela's government institutions and military continue to function, and the United States has not clarified how long it intends to remain involved or who will ultimately govern the country. Analysts warn that the situation could lead to a dangerous power vacuum, regional tensions, and long-lasting consequences for Latin America, global oil markets, and U.S. foreign policy as the crisis continues to unfold.